We are live for the Six Nuts podcast. Welcome, everybody. I am your host, Dave, joined as always by Jordan Angus and Paul Bourgon. Gentlemen, before we get to your salutations, I got to remind everybody, shameless plug as always, if you're watching, we are live. We need you to like, subscribe, and you know what? You could take it a step further. If you're watching this on YouTube or on Instagram, feel free to share this. Hit the share button, share it out. Spread it to as many people as possible because we have an amazing special guest that we're going to bring on in a minute. This is unbelievable, man. We are six nuts, three comedians, but this person does not have nuts, as far as I can tell. Anyway, Jordan, Paul, episode 45 live. How are you, gentlemen?
Pumped.
Great.
Pumped.
Great, pumped.
Yeah.
I like one-word answers. A podcast with one-word answers is fabulous.
I think you guys know why I'm pumped. Okay, this is the first Hold My Beer episode since January, so I'm ready to go. I'm ready to smash one back.
That's right.
Nice. So we got a great show lined up. We're going to be doing Hold My Beer as always. We're going to be doing Bits That Bite, which is a some content that we're going to present, which is new, never been tried on stage, because we are comedians, always writing new jokes, and we're going to see if these bits actually do bite the big one. So you know what? We got a guest in the green room, man. I think this is our biggest fan, or maybe our top two for sure. Top two. If you discount my mother, she's top three. 100% top three. Do you guys want to say anything about her before we bring her on?
I'm pumped to have her on. Actually, like it's I think it's a long time coming. So that's all I'm going to say right now. I'm pumped.
That's all you're going to say. Paul, you got anything to say?
Same thing. She was so excited to come on, and that's always a good thing.
It is a good thing. And before I bring her on, I'll do it in a second. When she connected online before we actually went live, she's like so excited and like, I'm so pumped to be here and I can't wait to go. And I'm like, oh my God, you're making me nervous here because like, I'm not used to this. Like most people are like, all right, I'll come on your podcast. Just tell me when.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's refreshing. Anyway, without further ado, local comedian. I've seen her several times. She's very, very funny. Please put your hands together for the great Christine Loomans. Christine, how are you?
I'm so excited to be here. It's so cool. I do think I'm one of your number one fans. I think I'm probably tied with the great Max Elliott Slade, the local comedian. I think me and Max are like the top number one fans of you.
Wow. Okay, well, you know what? This show is all about us. It's not about you. So, like, give us like the top three things you like about the show, and don't be bashful.
Okay, my top three things are Paul, and Paul.
Oh, Paul, whoa.
Paul is my favorite part of this show for sure. But I think that you guys all work in such a good dynamic. Like, I think that, like, awesome. Dave, you seem to have so much structure to the show, and you're very, like, navigate. And I love that there's, like, different segments and different outlines and a plan. And but I just always feel like Paul's there to riff, and he's just having fun. And Jordan's amazing, too. Everything. Oh, and my other favorite part is that you wear these sunglasses. And so we can see what's on your screen sometimes. And that's always really funny.
You got like 4 or 5 different porno threads up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh my God, I better close those windows, man. That's very revealing. Well, no, it's great to have you. We're honored, and really that kind of feedback really is humbling, and it's not something we get all the time. I'll be honest, sometimes when I show up to a comedy show, I sometimes get a little mocked, six nuts, blah, blah, blah. So this is refreshing, man. So thank you very much for joining us. We are very excited to have you.
Thank you. you. I'm very excited to be here. I'm sad that you would get mocked because something that I love about Six Nuts is your appreciation for comedy. And so I'm so excited that later on we're going to be doing the Bits That Bite segment because it's so nice to have something that like motivates you to write. It's so easy to get in repeating the same jokes and just trying to get your rhythm down and like knowing what's tried and true. But writing is my favorite part of comedy. And so it's amazing that you guys get together and share these ideas. Like I have like some friends in the comedy community who I'm always like, does this hit? Does this bit bite? You know? So I'm very.
Oh, that's awesome. So, you know, I have a few more questions. We'd like to get to know you a little better because at comedy shows,
we should start off with the first segment that Jordan has been waiting for.
Wow.
Isn't there a new intro to it and everything?
Oh, my God. You are like, my God, like Jordan and Paul don't even know about the new intro. What is going on, man?
Yeah, we know.
You mentioned it last, Paul.
Yeah.
It'd be funny. And so I cannot wait.
Okay, so Christine, what is the name of the segment?
Hold my beer. Right?
You're watching Six Nuts Podcast, and this is how I hold my beer.
Ah, yes. Hold my beer. Thank you to Aiden in that new intro. We know where he likes to hold his beer. So Hold My Beer, a segment there where we go around the virtual room and everybody introduces their beverage of choice for this episode. So, Christine, do us the honors as the guest. Share with us the beverage of choice for this episode.
I was so excited about this segment. I had this plan to go to Corner Peach in Chinatown. I live pretty close to it. They have a really good selection of like local beers and ciders, but they were closed today. So then I had to just go in Chinatown so I just have a boring Sapporo because I needed to have a beer. But
oh my God,
I do have a bottle opener that I got from Abs. It was like one of the performers who had a little station set up. So at least I have something exciting to drink, but it's just a classic Sapporo today.
Sapporo.
Sounds to me like
love Sapporo,
Japantown.
Yeah. I live in Chinatown. So
very nice. So Sapporo. So give it a big swig and then give us a rating.
10 out of 10, boys.
10 out of 10. Oh, that deserves a round.
I know that Paul likes to do like an 8.60, but nah.
I vary. You know, it could be a 1, it could be a 10. You never know.
I love Sapporo. It is genuinely one of my favorite beers. It's so good. So I'm jealous right now, Christine. Very jealous.
Well, what are you drinking?
Well, okay. Well, hey, you know what? You should host the show, man. You're pretty good. You're keeping the show flowing, man. I love it. All right. I am doing a Brewdog Clockwork AF. I don't know what the AF stands for, but fill it in. It's a hoppy tangerine. So Brewdog, I don't think I'm going to like it because I don't like fruity beers, but it's the first one I grabbed. So here we go. Ooh, that's not bad, actually. Not bad. I will give that it's not a 10. It's not a 2. I'll give it a 6.972. 6.972.
Nice.
Yes, sir. Applause for that. Thank you.
Nice.
Applause. Thank you very much. The audience is revved up today, man. They're applauding everything. All right, Paul, let's go to you. Your beverage of choice for episode 45.
My beverage of choice is a twisted tea.
Oh, very nice.
Not a beer at all.
Twisted tea. Yeah.
Very nice.
I love these things. Like I've told you guys before, I'm not like when you're eating food, I can't drink beer when I'm eating food. You know, it just doesn't go well.
Not even pizza?
With nothing. Yeah, like I
Really?
just can't stand drinking beer and eating food. And as far as being able to drink and eat, this is the way to go. Twisted tea. So.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
I don't know. Have I had twisted tea before?
Not that I know of.
I don't think so. I don't think on the podcast.
We'll have to check the
You're
records.
usually a big rig guy.
That's true. He is a big rig guy.
Get off my back, guys. Get off my back. I give it an 8.55.
Oh, 8.55. Very good. That's great. 8.55 for the Twisted Tea.
I'm excited. I'm excited for Jordan. Yeah.
All right. Well, you know what? Sadly, we are out of time. So
Oh, fuck off.
we're going to have to move on. Let's move on to our next segment. No, I'm just kidding. See, Jordan just came through a dry January. So we're recording this. We're live because it's February. We're live. Duh. All right. So Jordan is chomping at the bit. So I'm going to try. I'm going to delay this as long as possible.
Oh God, I hate you.
All right, Jordan. Over to you, Jordan. What are you drinking?
It's nothing exciting. I don't have any fancy ass beer, but I have an American beer in honor of the terrorists that we're going to be suffering through.
Yes.
I got a Michelob Ultra, and I'm not wasting time. Sorry, guys.
This could be a 0, and he would be happy.
Chug.
Yeah, chug it, man. Chug. Let's go.
Oh boy.
Was that your first? It's February 2nd. Like,
Definitely
did you
not.
wait?
I waited for today.
No way.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
I had a non-alcoholic last night, so.
Wow.
It's a big reveal
Jordan.
on the pod.
Good on you.
I'm proud
impressed.
of you.
I'm
Good on you.
gonna take one of these.
We're all proud of you, Jordan. We're all proud of you. So you need to give us a rating.
Because it's my first beer back, I have to go 11 out of 10. Sorry, but yeah.
11 out of 10. That's the first 11 ever on this show. Outstanding. Nicely done. All right. Well, that brings a end to the second ever live episode of, what is it called, Christine?
Bitch that. Nope. It's called Hold My Beer.
Hold My Beer.
You're watching Six Nuts Podcast, and this is how I hold my beer.
Yes, and I noticed that Aiden's beer, that's a large beer that he's holding down there.
Yeah,
Very
not bad for a white guy.
Yeah. All right, so now we can get on with business. Christine, there's a lot of I know you, but I don't know you very well. So, why don't you give us like a 30-second? Who is Christine, man? How long you been doing comedy? We'll start with that.
I had my first set almost a decade ago, but I was never consistent. And then I did comedy a bit before the pandemic, 2018. I did probably 10 shows, and I just wasn't very consistent. And then in 2021, I have been really chasing it. And I love comedy. I feel like I got into it because I'm the youngest child, so I needed attention, so I was always the funny one to try to get the attention. And it's one of the coolest things, and it's always so fun because anytime you a comedian that you can always have a chat with, because you have something in common, and it's really just a wonder. Comedy fills my heart with so much joy.
Very nice. How many siblings? You're one of how many?
I have 2 older sisters.
2 older sisters. Okay. What's your favorite part of comedy? What was it like? Actually, you touched on the pandemic. Did you do comedy through the pandemic? And what was that like?
I didn't do comedy through the pandemic. From 2019 to 2021, I was dating someone. And before we started dating, I made a lot of jokes about my dating life. And when we started dating, he said he didn't want to be involved in comedy. He didn't want me to write any bits about him. And I felt embarrassed to have said the ones. So I just stopped. I kind of shut down for a couple years and didn't do comedy at all. And it was very difficult because I felt like I couldn't write about all the parts of my life. But I don't know if that answered your question.
No, that is interesting.
I can relate to that a lot. You're in a relationship with somebody and they kind of they put your fire out. Yeah, they don't. It's tough. It's really tough. I've been in that situation. I was in it for a while where they don't want you joking about anything, and then when you come out of that to try to create material, but that's not revolved around that, can be difficult too, right? Because that's all you knew for a while, and it's a challenge.
I think it is a challenge, but I feel especially with female comics, so much about female comics is just I'm going to talk about bad dates. I'm going to talk about relationships. And I think when you stop trying to talk about that, you get really fun. I I did a set last night and I only said one joke about dating, and it was like in a relation to something else. Like once you stop, try but I think it was having the obstacle put in front of me that just blocked everything. Because like most of my jokes are like about work, like are about things I've observed. Like I think I'm a little bit like Jordan, as I'm observational in my humor.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm also like Paul, that I'm very punny in my humor. Like
Yeah.
I'm like silliness. Anyway, but I think just at that time, but it's crazy because I remember trying to watch, I've always been a fan of comedy, and I remember trying to watch it during the pandemic, and it wasn't fun at all to watch it. But I love watching live streams now. Like I'm a subscriber to Mint Comedy, which is like they do live streams into the Comedy Cellar. But there's something about it still being a room of people and full that is so good. Whereas like when pandemic comedy was happening, it was so much like this, but this is different than comedy. You're not waiting, you're not saying a monologue, you're having a conversation. So it's like the pandemic was crazy for comedy.
Yeah, it sure was. It's interesting. I mean, we see the comedy world obviously from the viewpoint of a man. What is like the number one observation for you? Like the comedy world, is the comedy world like difficult for women, or is it easier because it's easier to get spots? Like, what is your observation of
Easier to
comedy?
get spots? I don't know.
No, I should.
First.
All right. I didn't mean, that's not what I meant. What I meant to say was that usually like I'm running into Barley Mow, right? And you always want, representation from women, right? I mean, you don't want a show it's all guys. You want women on the show. So everybody that, when I do a call for spots, every woman that replies, they get a spot, because there are fewer female comics than male comics. So to get a spot at Barley Mow, it's easy, right? So that's where I'm coming from. I'm not saying you're getting preferential treatment or anything, but I mean, what is your perspective of the world of comedy as a woman?
I mean, like sometimes, like yesterday, I was so honored. Like this week, and I feel like since September, I started a new job at work, and comedy hasn't been as much of my focus, and I haven't been chasing mics. Like when you did your last caller, I don't think I even put my name, because I've been like kind of overwhelmed professionally. Anyways, and then this week I got a message from Nick, the owner of Laugh Lounge, offering me an opening spot on a weekend. And I felt like,
nice.
Oh, I'm only getting this because I'm a girl, because I haven't been doing mics. Like I'm not prepped for it. Like it made me feel like I had that feeling like, oh, I must just need to be a woman on the show. But then when I have that self-deprecating thought, I go like, well, isn't that kind of neat? Like, isn't that cool that I got this opportunity and someone else thinks I'm qualified enough to handle it? So let's just crush it. And like, I just decided to like dress up as cute as I could and feel as confident as I could in myself, even though I felt like when I tell my jokes, I'm going to have some ums and some bums, like, because I haven't been reciting them or practicing as much, because I haven't been like going to every mic anymore. But as an audience member, I am stoked when there's a girl on, right? I'm not going to the bar. I'm so excited because 50% of your audience is women and only one female comic is on the show. And I feel like I've messaged Jordan before, if I've noticed, I'm like, there's no woman on this lineup, because it makes me sad. But then I sent Jordan a message like, oh, I just think, but it was a show that I would never want to perform on, because it was a roasting show. Like, and I can't handle being roasted. I love writing roasts. I'm a bitch. I love to like, I am. And I'll like send, like, sometimes like my friend Nancy is an amazing roaster, and sometimes I'll send her roast ideas, and then I watch her roast, and if like there's just a smidgen of what I said in it, I'm like we did it, even though it's not really me at all. But it's so fun but I can't handle like if someone at work tells me I'm messy, I start to cry. Like I can't handle like any criticism at all. So it's like I'm not someone who could participate in a show like that, but I was still like, where are the girls? Because there should be, like, as an audience member, you want them as a female. Like, it's date night. Like, where is the other half? Then you're another subject of this. Like, Paul and I always cross paths at abs. Like, we, for a while, we're on the same, like, Wednesday. We were both getting on the same Wednesdays. And I've gotten such strange feedback from Jason, and I know so many other women who have got feedback from Jason that you have to, like, would a man ever get this feedback? Like, people were getting told that their shirts should be higher cut or lower cut, and, like, things like that. And just, like, but then is that anyway? So it's just like, oh, now I'm, like, publicly talking about a club owner, and that seems like a bad idea.
That's okay. There's a club owner of Cultures. He's a pretty big asshole too. I think he's on a podcast as well now. So it's we'll make it. We'll even.
Is it Dan Shields? Did he give you all his teeth?
He's not a club owner.
Just kidding. Anymore. Anyway.
Yeah.
Does his name rhyme with Angus?
Yeah, I fucking hate that guy.
Yeah, there you go.
Anyway, I don't know. So yes, like, I can see what you're saying, and I do feel like a little bit privileged in the sense that, like, especially too, like, as a girl who, I don't know, has kind of a tight 6, I do get thrown out, and then I'll see, like, I'll get thrown on a lineup and be like, oh, I am the only girl. But then, like, my sweet friend Simone Holder, she's like, sometimes she's funny, she's hilarious, but she's like, am I just like a super one special? Like, because it was such white male dominated, and it's like positions you into like this corner of like self-sabotage, when in the end you're saying your first thought when I brought her name up was she's funny. Like, you're funny. Yeah. So
well, you're getting put on for a reason, you know what I mean? What, like, I guess it's hard for me to relate, in this situation, but like if you're saying, like, am I only getting put on because I'm a girl, like, you're still getting put on above other women, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, you're on because you're funny.
Yes.
But that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would think a club owner doesn't give a crap. Like, they want you to be funny. Yeah. Like,
that's right? You see, like, sometimes, like, I've been on NTS's at Yucks with Jordan, and I know that a club owner doesn't give a crap because make those lineups shorter. Like, make it easier to want to come back. Have a solid, like, comic who's seasoned open the show, be the bullet, like, cushion names that you've never seen before, like, be less generous with giving spots, or create sort of like, it sucks to have like a bringer mentality, but to have a show with 20 acts that, like, I remember once, like, you performed and your sweet girlfriend Monica came up to me and she was like, I'm so sorry, I can't stay. Like, she was so sorry. She couldn't see me because, like, it was like 9:30. Like, it's like, we've been there for 3 hours. I actually stopped emailing Yucks for the 15th just because I hated watching the show myself. Like, it's exhausting.
And that's true. Like, I've said it here quite a few times too. The bullet position is extremely important. That kind of defines the rest of the evening. So when you're, like, especially on nights like that, it's so long. You want to hit it right out the gate. You want to have a decent lineup. And I understand you need bringers in. That's kind of business-wise. That's how you keep your lights on. But I agree with you. When you got like 10 comics and then you still have your host and your feature as well doing time, and sometimes you have somebody who works there who wants to pop up and do 6 because the crowd is good.
Yeah.
Or someone drove in a day early for their weekend spot. Like, there's so many... It's just never ending that, like, because I'm a woman, I don't drive. Just kidding, but I don't drive. So it takes me an hour because I always, like, have an agreement with myself that I'll bus one way and then I'll Uber home, and it's like a $30 Uber, and I've been there for 3 hours, and then by the time you're on stage, like, it's hard to give yourself, and you almost feel guilty. Like, I'm sorry, I'm taking up more of your time because you've been here for so long that you feel like this sense of guilt instead of just like trying for the laughs. Like in a show like that, it's always good to be able to go up earlier, but like you can't choose that. You don't decide that. So it's exhausting. I always like, it's crazy. I always feel sympathy for the features of an NTS because it should be an honor, but it's actually the worst spot because they've sat through everyone and now you're going on longer than ever. Like they just want to go home. It's like actually a curse to be feature, I think.
Yeah, it can be like you said, it's a long night, right? Like I was lucky the night I featured at Yucks. I had most of the audience were there because of me, right? So they were there to see me. And I think everybody on that night kind of hit it out of the park. Like even people I had never met before, you know, you get those, this is the first time they're doing it. And thank goodness they didn't bomb, you know, like everybody found something that night to find funny. But I can only imagine, like there was one time I was there and Steve Love was featuring and we were all tired. It must have been like 13 comics who had gone up.
Holy cow.
It was a lot. And he's tired at that point. You know, I'm sure he's got a Monday to Friday job. You got to be at work the next morning. But, you know, you never know. And at that point, you're just like, okay, well, I'm going to try to get through this and hopefully cut it down to 12, maybe 10 minutes so we can all get the fuck out of here. It makes it kind of rough.
It's rough because also, like, this is something I'm trying to find. Like, I'd love to start. And I think that it's so hard to have a show that has 15 to 20 minute spots. Like you never get to practice. So then when you hopefully get those opportunities to be an opener at a club or a middle at a club, you're not prepared for it because we always have these. And then you get to finally do a 20-minute spot somewhere and it's like the audience is burnt out. You don't actually know. You feel bad doing your full 20 minutes. It's a hard line. Like it's a hard thing to and it's never the same to just practice in the mirror. You'll never know the same. Like it's not the same at all. Like to do comedy, you have to just fucking do it. And anyway.
Like Paul and I have had this discussion offline, like 6 minutes, like, okay, great. 6 minutes is 6 minutes. But like Paul has a story. I'm not going to tell it, I'll let Paul talk about it, but he's got a story that can go like 20 minutes, right? If you include everything, right, Paul?
That's sort of what I've found about like the open mics or when you're doing those kind of pro-am nights where like you only have 6-7 minutes. You got to really structure what your material is. Like you got to structure it properly, right? And I'm really left, right, middle, kind of like out of nowhere humor. So I mean, if I had 20 minutes, I could elaborate on each of those. You know what I mean? So it's not really like I'm doing more material, which I could, but you know what I mean? I could.
You're explaining your joke more thoroughly. You're adding more detail.
But I do if I have a story that I'm going to tell. Yeah, like if I have a certain amount of time, like I got to really gauge, where I put the story in, right? If that means cutting out a couple so that I could get the full story in, So yeah, it's true. It really is a, fine line.
I find that like very brave because for me, I could never take a walk. Like I'm scared to take a walk more than like 3 beats because if I were to tell a whole story, I would like worry that the payoff isn't there. Like, and I always think about having like, I should write this out and then make it like David Haddad is a great example of someone who can take a story and then line by line, there is a joke. And you're like, we've went on this whole walk. But for me, I find now when I'm writing, it's always like my new joke that I'll do at Bits and Bites, it can be saved by something I've already established as good. So it's like every time I'm writing, I'm just like, it's a new da-da-da-da. It's never like a story because I don't. But then and I know you guys don't always love this venue, and I definitely don't. But Meow is a place where you can do a storytelling.
I
Like,
love
that's
Yeah.
I was just there. I was just there on
Yeah.
Thursday.
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
So
I love the venue, but I always suck there. So
Well, fucking
it's
everybody.
hard not to suck there, but it's almost impossible not to suck there. The only person I can make laugh is Tracy, who's
Yeah.
the regular at the bar, and that's only because she's not a comic worrying about her own thing. Everyone else
Yeah.
is worrying about their own thing, and so it's hard to get anything. But it's the best for. I have an idea. Let me just plop it on you. Does
Yep.
this have legs, and can I iron it out? And then you bring that to Poor Boy, and then you bring that to Abs, and like
yeah.
that, because and then it's in your tight 6, which hopefully becomes a tight 10, which hopefully, you know, like
100%.
it's such a climb. And then like after the meow, I'll be like, I'll never do the work. I'll just scrap it and I never grow. And it's hard because I'm like, wow, I've been telling this same joke about a bracelet for 2 years, but I know it will work, right? And I know that like what I've said at least says something that I'm like pretty proud of. Like every time I make a joke, I want it to kind of like go, oh, like there's something in like I talk about child labor, or I talk about it, like I always try to like, I've said something important, right? Like I it's because you have a platform, so it's like, how do I use this?
I will say, like when I got the Mill Tavern open mic,
Yeah. Because you get a host, and hosting's the best.
It's fun.
And you get time. You get time at the start to get to know
Yeah.
each other. You get time at the start, and that makes the room better. And you get time to recover. You get a time hosting is one of my favorite things in the world.
Yeah.
Last time I did it, I was so fortunate. I think it was for Dave's show in December.
Yeah.
And that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, you did a great job. Yeah, you did very well.
Thank you.
I was actually, so I called Monica about it, letting her know that I had gotten it. And the first thing I said was, I'm actually like, it's great, but I'm kind of sad because now I can't do meow. And I used to go there frequently. Like that was, like you said, it's a great spot to see if something that you've written down has legs. And yeah, like not everybody's laughing, whatever. But my goal, and I've said it to these two, I'm just trying to make Zach laugh. If I can make Zach laugh, then I know I've got something to play with. Never.
I'll never make Zach laugh ever, but that's okay. I'll make other people laugh. I just make Dave laugh. So
yeah, you got Tracy, right? And even Steph. If you can get Steph going, like, and if you can crack Larry, like.
Yeah, if anyone could crack Larry, I think they deserve a shot of hot sauce. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
hot sauce. What's your?
Okay, I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead. Go for it.
Paul, what is your job? Because I know that Dave works for the government, and I think Jordan, you're in construction.
Yep.
Paul, what do you do?
I do a stand-up comedy.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Okay.
And
Awesome.
it's not as lucrative as I had hoped, but
well, you can afford a haircut. I can't.
Yeah. But no, I used to have a job, and I some shit went on, and I kind of was like, it sort of had to make a decision, right? And I honestly, I would take. I've said this before to people, like a lot of people are in jobs, or they're in they're doing stuff within their life that they're not supposed to be doing, and it like you were talking about your ex-boyfriend, like it could really be a hindrance, you know what I mean? It could really take away from, what you should be doing, and I just, like, I've always wanted to do comedy. It's just something I've always, been, had my heart set on, and
I see you, and I've noticed you really have a wonderful community around you. I got to go to your Valentine's Day show that you organized at the Speakeasy, and everyone knew you. I've been at Abs before, and everyone's known you. So you have such a big heart, and you have such a force around people that we barely met, and I've observed this. I'm people love Paul. You're a wonderful person, and I think if you're
really,
yeah, absolutely.
Well, it's nice to hear. It's thank you very much for saying that. I appreciate it. Sometimes I don't think that's the case, right? But I do try to bring people out, especially when we're going to, you know, Absolute or whatever. And I find that, you know, like as the years sort of pass, it gets a little bit more difficult to like call out that favor, like, hey man, come out to a show, you know. But thankfully, I got a wider group of friends, right? Like I'm an Ottawa guy, right? So I like born and raised here, so I kind of, you know, I kind of have that luxury, right? But thank you for saying that, Christine. I appreciate it.
Jordan, were you born and raised in Ottawa? Because you do a lot of shows in, like, you did, like, you've been to Mississauga a lot last year, and like you seem to like have some connections in Toronto. Are you originally from Ottawa?
I'm originally from Ottawa. I lived in Montreal, LaSalle for a little while. But the reason that I kind of travel out there is when I first started comedy, I didn't do it in Ottawa. I purposely, because I dealt with a lot of stage anxiety. So I would go out of my way to not perform in cities where my family or friends were going to be. Mostly because when I would hang out with people, they would tell me, oh, you need to do this like as a thing. Like you need to tell jokes as a living. And yeah, it was tough. So I actually had a stage name, and I would leave the city and just hop on open mics in hopes that I would get a spot. And I kind of developed connections through that. And that's kind of why, like last year especially, I was doing a lot of Toronto shows. Even the year before that, I was doing a lot of Toronto shows. So it's just you kind of meet people, they get to familiar with you, and as you would know, it becomes a community. That's why I started Battle of Ontario. It's the people I met, them to mesh, right? So
that's so cool. Like I don't know, like it's funny because I have no problem telling jokes to strangers, and I have no problem, but like small talk and like going and introducing myself to people in a comedy context was one of like the scariest things for me, and that was one of the reasons why I took such a long break, is because I would go to comedy shows and I wouldn't know how to talk to any of the comics. And then I would go up and sometimes I'd bomb and be like, I wasted everyone's time, and I'd feel so bad. And so one of the things was like, I was hoping that my partner would go with me so that I wouldn't feel so alone in these spaces. But now, fortunately, like I had a couple good conversations in the back booth of Swizzles, and I felt that way. But sometimes when I'm like I've had it before, like before competitions and stuff, I'll go to Montreal and I'll try to like go from one mic to another mic, and then I like get so anxious about the chase of it and going from one show to another show that I end up bombing on stage, and then I don't learn anything from the experience. Anyway, so it's such a hard balance. So I'm really proud of you for traveling to perform, because like to me that would be hard, but then there is something so nice about, I guess, the drive home and like listening back to the recording. I hope you guys are all audio recording your sets, because like that's one of my favorite parts about it, being like, whoa, that worked, like that little thing worked and stuff. Like that's one of the coolest parts of comedy.
It's interesting you say that, because a lot of like the road trips, like I would travel 4 hours for a 6-minute spot, and the whole way there, I'm mentally going through my set and trying to prepare for kind of reactions from the crowd, timing, or hecklers, like the odd heckler, right? That way I always have a response and I know how to navigate around that. So I'd be spending 4 hours of my trip just preparing for that. Whereas like when you show up somewhere, I try to show up early to shows, and it's just to kind of get a feel of the audience that's there and to eventually get into the zone. So it's different. It's different going out of town to perform. But yeah, I can sympathize with that a little bit, right? You need somebody there sometimes to make you feel comfortable in the surroundings you are in. I don't know what it is, but yucks, especially for me, I get the most nervous there. I don't know why.
It's because it's so cold.
Yeah, it's cold.
Every time I'm like a nervous wreck there, and I haven't bombed there, but I freak out. It brings me back to like 10 years almost. Like
that's wild, eh?
Yeah, it's.
I wonder, because for me, what I have the hardest in, like, rest in peace Pub 101. I don't know if you guys ever did that room, but one of my hardest things with comedy is like when a room is so dark that you can't see people's expression. That gets me, and that's like that's silly, and I feel like I do better in a small room because I feel like when I see everyone and I can have a conversation with it and be like, this just you. But with a big room where you can't see anyone and you're just like there hoping people get your thoughts, and then if they don't even, like, you can't even see if they smiled, if they weren't fully laughing, that's what trips me up. And I don't feel that way at Yuck Yucks. I feel like Yuck Yucks is bright enough, but I do feel that way at Laugh Lounge and at Absolute, especially upstairs at Absolute. I love downstairs. I like a smaller room. Anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so interesting.
And we do. Oh, sorry.
Well, I was going to say it's funny that how that's an important setup to a comedy club, eh? Like it's kind of like it's good for the crowd in a certain way because they're like, all eyes are on you because you're like really the only thing lit up in the room. But like it's true, like when you can kind of gauge what's working, right? Like I usually like I always kind of like go with if I hear one person laugh, like in the corner, you know what I mean? I'm like, yes,
Yes!
One person gets it.
And you know it. Yes, exactly.
But I mean, not being able to see anybody kind of thing. Like I remember like when I first started, you were kind of so in the zone and you were so nervous that like you weren't even able to like take a second and look, like kind of like squint your eyes and look, but as you get your feet wet a little bit, you can kind of like, see people in the crowd and sort of relax a little bit. But it is an important aspect of a comedy club, right? How they set it up.
Yeah, 100%. And speaking of comedy clubs, we have some comments. I should share with you, Mr. Paul Bourgon. And if anybody's watching, I know, well, there are people watching. I know that. Drop us, just drop us a hello so we know who's watching. Paul, we got a comment from our good friend and loyal watcher and listener, Glenn Sloan. Said, Paul, I laughed on Thursday. So I guess talking about your set at Meow, that's hot. So Glenn definitely laughed. So
thank you.
That's some good feedback.
that I didn't hear, but yeah.
It was a silent ovation.
Yeah.
We got Top Chef Ninjas watching.
No way! Oh, you don't know who that is?
Yeah, I do.
JP Burnell.
Yeah.
He said prank. Not sure that means. Thank you, JP. Appreciate you watching. He says prank.
JP, he messaged me asking me to go to his show at Pizza Cafe Taché, and I was like, "Is it like?" I was like taken aback by his, and I was like, "Is this some sort of prank? Like what?" And so now every time he sees me, he's like, "Prank! I'm pranking you," because he's just like trying to get more people to come.
Oh, that's cool.
Michelle Payne is saying she's watching on Instagram, actually, and says Christine is a great Six Nuts history teacher.
Yes. Actually, Christine knows more about the show than I do. Like, you're referencing things like, really? Yeah, you're very impressive. So, Glenn, I have a very quiet laugh. There you go. So, yeah, Jordan, if you see any comments you want to bring up on Instagram.
We have a lot of watchers. I could go through them all, but we might be here a little bit.
Maybe some good ones.
Brad says hi. That's a firefighter from Manotick. He had to go to a fire call. We got Not Your Average Joe from Cornwall who said hi. He's watching.
Very nice.
A lot of people are watching for sure. So we got some
Very
eyes
nice.
on us tonight.
Very nice.
So fun.
We're doing bits and bites in a minute. Sorry, not bits and bites. Bits that bite. Before we do that, I mean, we could do that, and there was something else I saw. It's really, really funny. It's a survey of 3,000 adults in the U.S., and they ranked animals on whether they can beat them up or not. So do you guys want to go through like the top 3 or 4? And you guys could tell me if you think you can beat these animals up or not.
I love this so much.
You guys want to do that?
This is great.
All right. So I don't have an intro for this, but if you're watching and you want to comment,
animals that bite
as we go. Yeah, there you go.
That could bite.
Yeah, I'd love to. If you're watching, comment on whether you can beat up this animal as well. So there's a list of 10. I'm only going to go through the top 3 or 4. Of the 3,000 adults surveyed. So we'll start with Christine, then we'll go to Paul and Jordan. The number one animal that people think that they could beat up is a rat. Christine Loomans. Can you beat up a rat?
Yes, but I wouldn't want to. Okay.
How would you beat up a rat? How would you do it? Like kicks, punches, pick it up and throw it?
I think I just pick it up and throw it away like it's garbage. You know, like I just like throw it. I live in it, but I live in an apartment, so I just throw it down the garbage chute. I think, and let someone
Ooh.
else.
Wow. Okay. Who? Paul, can you beat up a rat?
100%. 100%.
You got to catch it first. I would have a hard time
Yeah,
catching that.
like it's got to catch me too. Like of course. Yeah. Like next question. Come on. Of course you can beat the rat.
Well,
Get to the good stuff. Come on. Like yeah. You know.
I'm assuming the rat is not interested in fighting you back.
No, I know. If it's Splinter from the Ninja Turtles, maybe not. But like any other kind of rat, yeah. Like of course you can. Yeah.
All right, Jordan.
Yeah, I could bite.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like, I don't want to hurt any animals, but like we used to have field mice in the store I used to work at come in all the time, and after a while, you get like so desensitized from like kicking them out of the store that I would take one of the field mice by its tail and flung it outside.
Great, man.
Like before meeting this, I would have been like, oh no, I can't do that. That's animal cruelty. But after a while, they're fucking annoying. So yeah. I could beat up a rat. I could beat up a rat.
Okay, for the number 2 animal, and I'm just going to throw it out there. I'm not going to call on you, but so you guys just comment as you feel you want to. Number 2 is of 3,000 adults surveyed. The number 2 animal they think they can beat up is a house cat.
No, are you kidding? A house cat?
Yeah,
they're fucking. You piss a house cat off, they'll rip your throat out. Like cats don't fuck around.
Yeah, seriously, I agree.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that's number 2.
Of course you can beat a house cat. Like you're gonna get scratched, but like, come on, guys.
No.
well,
cats.
Paul,
what's the next? Bats?
No, Paul has it. Well, Paul and Jordan have cats. I don't have a cat, but have you ever had to do anything to the cat that was like a fight, like give it a bath?
If my cat's getting a little bitey, like a lot of times I'll like here's the thing. They don't care. Like they don't care how big you are, right? Like a cat doesn't like tuck its tail between its legs and walk away. Like my cat especially, like if I sort of fight back at it or whatever, like I'll be like, okay, it's over, you know.
But that's what
20 seconds later, 30 seconds later, the cat will just bite my toe out of nowhere. Like it's because it's sitting there like thinking about it. Like so you can't drop your guard is what I'm saying, right? But
and that's what makes cats terrifying. They have no fear. It's like
they have no fear, and I respect that. But like you grab a cat by its head and hold its head, and if you're really, if it was like a do or die situation, you just rip its head off, right? Which I would never do because I love cats so much. But like, if we're talking one of its cousins, like we're getting into the jaguar, panther, like tiger, you no chance. Like,
Christine, do you have a pet?
No, I grew up with dogs, and I've always wanted a dog, but I don't have a pet. One day, hopefully, I'll have my own dog.
All right, Jordan, you were going to say something.
Jean says she'd be too worried about diseases, so I'm going to guess that's about the rat. So 100%, I'd be worried about diseases too.
But Michelle probably could beat up a cat because she's a cat mom.
Cats could kill you.
Yeah.
The whole house could kill you. If a cat scratches you deep enough and you get like a infection into your bloodstream, they could screw you right the hell up, right? And
I think it could psychotically torture you, and it would lock you in the bathroom and you have
exactly lock you in, throw away the key, take over the house. All right, number 3. This is a weird one. Goose. Which
because to me, I can't. My first thought was, I could take on a bunny. I could easily take on a rabbit.
Yeah, how come Bunny's not here? That's a great point.
A
goose. I've heard a goose could break your arm. Like if they get a hold of your arm,
a goose could kill me. A goose would destroy my life.
Have you seen the Great Canadian Cobra chickens? Like I'll pass. I'll skip. They scare bears and lions. So if you're scaring those things, you scare me.
And I've biked along the canal, and they're in the spring. There's so many geese. And I'm just turn the other way. I'm not, this is your home, not mine. They're terrifying.
Yeah, listen, I think I've mentioned this before, right? But I remember a while back I was talking to some buddies, and we're talking about like what's a stronger animal, the dog or the cat, right? And like, because it's like you're either a cat person or a dog person, right? So you ask the question like who's tougher. So you take the biggest cat in the world against the biggest dog. Obviously, the biggest cat is going to like.
Oh, no question.
Decimated, right?
No question.
But then I was wondering, like, could the biggest, strongest man in the world take the biggest, strongest dog? So, like, we're talking like a timber wolf against like the mountain, and it's a scenario like you're put in a ring with this thing and you have to win, or like it's like do or die kind of thing, right?
Fight to the death.
Yeah, fight to the death. And a lot of people will be like, no chance, like you couldn't take a wolf, kind of thing. And so I kind of like, we're wondering what animals could you take. And I was thinking about, like, you see a lot of things online about people going up against kangaroos.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm pretty confident I could take a kangaroo. Like, I'm pretty confident, and
they throw a punch, bro.
Oh my God.
Like, no chance you could take it. And I like tell them like my strategy is like, no, just parry the kick, come in, take it down, ground and pound, one punch, pack your lunch.
No way. Like, there's no way. I don't think any man could take a kangaroo.
I really honestly feel like as a kangaroo, I mean, they could kill you for sure, but like, I think you have a better chance taking a kangaroo than you would taking a wolf.
Well, I mean, all these animals, they have to kill. They have to kill to eat. So they're hunters, right? Like, we don't kill to eat.
You're right. They do have a do or die instinct to them, right?
Absolutely.
But like, they do also have a strategy. They have that they base, And if you look at how that's the thing about the difference between humans and animals. Like, we can strategize.
No, dude. Herbivores.
Yeah,
herbivores.
I brought this up to my buddy Mark, and when he was playing hockey, and he brought it up in between periods one time, like while they're in the middle of an NHL game, and he talked to me after. He's like, Paul, I just wanted to let you know that I brought this topic up and saying that you think you could take a kangaroo, and the entire friggin' period. In between periods, we're all in the dressing room. It's like no one's talking about the hockey game. Everybody in the fucking room's talking about whether or not you can beat a kangaroo or not. So, the whole hockey team talking like the Sens instead of like thinking about the next period, they're all talking about whether or not they can take a kangaroo. So I'm glad I implanted that in.
All right, the kangaroo is actually number 9, but let me do one more off this list, and then we'll get to bits that bite.
Wait, can I say a quick joke right now that's not that funny?
Yeah, absolutely.
Every topic I've brought up right now, Paul has been in between periods.
Oh! Oh my goodness.
Okay, Dave, your turn.
Save that for bits that bite.
Wow, that's a good one, man. All right, the last animal, I'll skip down to number 7, which is kind of weird, is a chimpanzee.
No fucking chance.
No.
A chimpanzee. No 3,000 adults think they can beat up a chimpanzee.
Those are 3,000 idiots.
They're on drugs. Yeah, no.
Absolutely no chance.
Oh, yeah.
Like none whatsoever.
Yeah. How would you beat up a chimpanzee? There's no way.
You wouldn't. They'd destroy you.
They're psycho.
This list is so confusing.
They'd rip your face off. Like, no chance.
Why is it goldfish fucking number 1? Like, I could kill a goldfish in 7 days easily, and it's just my negligence.
Depending on what kind of tackle you're using, eh?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'll just finish off the list, and then we'll go to bits to bite. There was number 5 was eagle. Number 6 was large dog. Number 7, chimpanzee. Number 8, king cobra. Number 9, kangaroo. And number 10, wolf. So I don't know. Wherever they found these adults to answer this survey, I think they're delusional. Anyway, let's get to bits that bite. Here we go. All right. So this is where we go around the room and we introduce a bit or a bit or a joke. What is going on here?
You're chopping.
You guys are racist, man. You guys are racist.
I didn't Elon Musk on here, okay? I chopped.
I love you guys.
Yeah.
All right. Is the chopping gone now? Are we good?
Yeah.
Good now, yeah.
Okay. All right. So Bits That Bite, where we, since we are comedians, we introduce a joke or a short bit that we have never done on stage. And again, if you're watching, we'd love to hear your comment on, hey, man, you think it's a 10? You think it sucks? You think it's good? Whatever. Christine, do you want to go first or last? I'll give you the option to choose.
I'd like to go last.
Okay, then I'll go first. I'll start it off because we like to start with the really bad jokes, and then we'll kind of build up to the really good ones. So I'll start. Here we go. Oh, we got a comment from Bavin. David is damn Mike. What is this, man? Hey, I live in Stittsville, so you know, sometimes the Wi-Fi buffers. The mic is fine. It's just the Wi-Fi, man. All right, so my bit that I think it's gonna bite big time. Okay, so I have a teenage son. I'll preface this. Teenage son, his room it's like a bomb went off, and like his room is a disaster. There's clothes everywhere.
Not home anymore.
Well, he comes home from time to time, and he was home over Christmas, which is when I wrote the joke. So it's a joke about my teenage son's room. So my teenage son's room is like sex with a prostitute. If you enter unprotected, you might get a disease. God, it's really quiet.
Let
me try to put. If you enter unprotected, you might get a disease. Get my laugh.
This is exactly how comedy shows were during the pandemic.
All right, so man, I got no feedback. You guys got to give me feedback. Does that have potential? Does it suck? Is it brutal? Come on, lay it on me, man. I want to hear comments too. Oh, Bavin says, yes, sir. 6.2 out of 10. Thank you, Bavin. Thank you, Bavin. Appreciate that. Your silence tells me you think.
I think you have to witness something else in the room that would trigger that it would be a disease, because you're saying it's messy. Anyway, but that's my
why?
feedback.
Yeah, what is he doing in his room that makes you feel like is it just cluttered? There has to be something you've seen him do.
Like a visual.
There's like dishes, like used dishes, like there's fast food containers, like it's like a
I'm talking about like tube socks all over the floor. Like you know,
yeah.
Like
well, I can't see the floor. There's clothes everywhere. I cannot see the floor. Clothes everywhere.
I think you have something to work with for sure.
All right, thank you. Thank you for making me feel better. All right, let's go to Jordan. Let's go to you.
Okay, worked on this one. I don't know if Joe's still on here, but I said this while I was in his kitchen yesterday. So if Joe, you told me to write it down, I did. So I have an odd addiction, and I think addictions are like they're self-harming, right? Well, my addiction's a little weird. I'm addicted to petting dogs. Yeah, I do have a really bad problem. Like I go to dog parks and I don't own a dog. I'm just there to pet other people's dogs. I actually own a shirt that says, no, it's okay. I'm allowed to pet your dog in Braille just so I can pet service dogs. I even carry around cocaine in the hopes that a canine unit will pass by me just so I can pet that dog.
I like the momentum. I like the, but flip it. The Braille is the last part of the joke.
The last one is Braille?
Yeah, the Braille should be after the cocaine. The Braille is the funniest one. So that should be the ending.
I'm writing that down.
This doesn't touch on what you're saying, but just random. I went through the drive-through bank machine the other day, and there's Braille on the buttons of the drive-through bank.
Yeah.
Like, that's not meant to be a joke. It's like, why is there Braille on the drive-through bank machine buttons?
Yep, exactly.
That's not my joke. Anyway.
All right. Jordan, is Instagram still up and running?
Yeah. Okay, so
I just got to notice that it's cut off.
Instagram is still running. I don't know if we ran. Oh yeah. Okay, mine is still running. 6 Nuts for some reason is frozen.
Okay.
But I can't do anything about this right now.
All right. Well, Glenn Sloan could also be said of Swizzles. And Mr. Dazed said, greetings from Cornwall. Mr. Dazed, who are you? Is that Joe? That's not Joey.
I don't know. Joe, I think, was watching on Instagram. He might be on YouTube now. I don't know.
All right, Mr. Days, just tell us who you are if you want. You don't have to. And
He's too good.
Bavin said standard buttons for all machines, cheaper than to change it. Yeah, good point.
I
Oh,
don't think it's-
Matt J,
yeah, that
Mr.
they
Days.
changed. I just think it's
Matt Johnson, thanks for watching. Appreciate that. All right, let's get to Paul. Paul, your bit that bites.
So I took karate. I took karate when I was young. Okay, and it was very, very disciplined, very intense, very traditional. You could say it was old dojo.
Could you repeat that?
No. Old school. It was old school. It was old dojo. Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
funny. That was funny.
It's why I saved it for this.
All right. We had Glenn. I think Glenn said for blind drivers, obviously, duh. Obviously talking about the ATMs with Braille. Blind drivers. We got a lot of them in Ottawa.
We do.
All right. We do. All right, Christine, let's get to you. Your bit that bites.
Okay, all right. So I got in an Uber, and the Uber driver was from Africa, and he told me that the Nile River is overflowing. And I got confused. Like, haven't they just heard of beavers? Couldn't Canada just give a damn?
I like that.
It's good.
That's
I
good.
think it's
Yeah.
funny.
They're supposed to bite, Christine. They're not supposed to be good.
Okay. Sorry, I'm so funny.
No, that's really good. She, Paul, before you got online, she mentioned that her joke would be a Paul type joke.
Well, it was funny, so it wasn't anything like my jokes.
Yeah.
No, it's fun.
You said Christine, you said you had more than one. Are you?
Well,
do
I
you
have
wanna
one
share
that I
with me?
thought that Jordan might like. It's
Let's hear it.
okay. It's
Let's hear
it's edgy. It's edgy.
I like edgy.
Okay. Low key, I think white people love to order Negronis because it's the closest they can get to saying it.
I love that. That's
Yes,
funny.
that is funny. That is funny. That is hilarious. That joke does not bite at all. That's a good
No,
one.
that's good. I like that one. I hope you
Evan
use that
likes
one.
Matt Johnson said denial is not just a river in Egypt. There you go.
Classic Matt J.
Matt Johnson. We love Matt Johnson. We love him because he's in Cornwall and we love walls. All right. So that brings an end to another riveting episode of Bits That Bite. Yes, as the producer, I will say that Christine definitely won that one. So congratulations, Christine. What does she win, Jordan? Jordan, what does she win?
You win free tickets to the next Six Nuts live show at the Barley Mow on February 12th.
Get out.
Yeah. So you and a friend
Where is
can come and
Woo!
Is it the one where, which Barley Mow? The
Barley
one
Mow
on.
Nova. Yep.
Nice. That's
Wow.
so cool. That's
Congratulations.
very exciting. Thank you.
I was
That's
like,
awesome.
we have a prize? Oh wait, yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes. All right.
And
So we
everyone
got.
watching, you should go. I might be there.
Right.
I just won tickets. Go buy yours now.
There you go. We
Nice
got
plug.
one final thing to do. It's called Final Thoughts. Paul was not rocking out.
Oh,
Paul, we usually rock out to this song, man.
It's all right.
All right, final
I
thoughts. Final thoughts for episode 45. Let's go around the virtual room and get final thoughts. So, Christine, well, you know better than anybody what this is all about. Your chance to talk about an upcoming show, promote your social accounts, whatever you want, or just continue to say that Paul's the best because he is the best. All right, let's go to Jordan. Let's start with you, man.
okay,
Final
yeah. I just want to thank Christine for coming on here. I'm glad that we have a fan on the podcast. the
Yes.
first woman on the podcast, very pro woman.
Yes.
So thank you, Christine. I would love to have you back on here again. And finding out that there's other Six Nuts fans from you has actually been awesome to hear. So thank you. Thanks for all your kind words today and for joining us and actually having fun with us. That's
Yeah, it was
a huge
fun.
thing.
It's a lot of fun. Thank you for that, Jordan. Paul, let's go. Oh, no, you know what? I'll do my final thought. Then we'll go to Paul and then Christine. So, yeah, as always, thank you, Christine. It was a lot of fun. Like I say, we never get a chance at shows, to talk and just sit down and chill and talk about whatever. So this has been fun. It's been good getting to know you. And we have a big episode, number 50, coming up soon. So maybe we'll have you back for that. But definitely you're welcome anytime. And would love to have you back anytime on the show. So thank you for that. And as Jordan mentioned, we got a show coming up February 12th at the Barley Mow, Westboro. Not Westboro, Maryville, where we will be doing some of these segments live and in person. A lot of fun. So make sure you check that out. Paul Bourgon, your final thoughts for episode 45.
Final thought is, Christine, you did awesome. It was really good to have you on. It was a long time coming, so thanks a lot. It's always fun to have a fourth person come on, and especially when someone's as giddy and excited as you are. So thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Paul. Christine, we will end with you. The floor is yours to pretty much share whatever you want. Your socials, new upcoming shows. The floor is yours.
My next upcoming show, like the thing I'm most excited for, I'm producing and I'm hosting a little variety show. So it's kind of neat. It's called Heartbroken. It's going to have Jake Daly and Melanie Page performing comedy. And then at Meow, on Tuesdays they do music. And one of my favorite local musicians, his name's Jordy Jepson. He sounds like Lou Reed. So he's going to do a music set, and then it's going to be like a DJ night. It's day after Valentine's Day, and everyone's going to be like, very heartbroken. It's going to be fun. So tickets for that are available at aninascafe.ca. And then my last thought is special shout out to Ralph and Ralphie Nut. Thank you guys so much. And also, I'll see you soon, Max Elliott Slade.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much. And to the millions watching around the globe, thank you for watching. Again, thank you, Christine. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Jordan. And appreciate all the comments. And we look forward to seeing you all next time.